In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 NBA games happening on February 3rd, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Atlanta Hawks versus Detroit Pistons. The Atlanta Hawks, who currently hold a record of 22-27, are set to take on the Detroit Pistons, who sit at 25-24 in an Eastern Conference showdown at Little Caesars Arena on Monday, February 3rd, 2025. This game will feature two teams that have been experiencing contrasting fortunes as of late, making for an intriguing matchup. While the Pistons aim to continue building momentum and take full advantage of playing on their home court, the Hawks are desperately looking to put an end to their ongoing 4-game losing streak on the road. Detroit has demonstrated noticeable improvement this season, currently tied for 6th place in the standings, whereas Atlanta finds itself hanging on to the 9th seed after suffering through a rough stretch of losses. Atlanta will once again be forced to compete without key contributors, as Clint Capela, Jalen Johnson, and Bogdan Bogdanovic remain sidelined due to injuries. Meanwhile, the Pistons are still dealing with the absence of Jaden Ivey, who remains out of the lineup. The current state of the Hawks is nothing short of disastrous, as they enter this week carrying the burden of an 8-game losing streak. While they still have their star point guard, Trae Young, who is averaging an impressive 23 points per game along with 11.5 assists per contest, basketball is a team sport. Even if Young delivers an electrifying performance, scoring 50 points and dishing out over 15 assists, the question remains, where will the additional offensive production come from? Additionally, Atlanta will be at a severe disadvantage on the boards, as they are missing their 2 top rebounders, Jalen Johnson and Clint Capela. This creates a particularly challenging matchup against a Detroit team that ranks 7th in the league in rebound rate at 51.5% this season. Adding to Atlanta's struggles, Detroit has been playing well recently, currently riding a 2-game winning streak, with both victories coming by margins of at least 8 points. The Hawks are simply not getting enough points for them to be a reliable bet in this contest. Over their last 8 games, Atlanta has gone just 2-6 against the spread, losing each of those contests outright. With such an extensive injury list and a tough road environment to contend with, it's hard to see them reversing their fortunes against a Pistons team that consistently plays with energy and effort. The Detroit Pistons may be playing the second game of a back-to-back set, but that does not seem to be a major concern for this scrappy squad. They bring a relentless approach to every game, regardless of the circumstances. On the other hand, the Hawks appear to be in free fall, dropping 8 straight games, and they now hold a 21-28 record against the spread this season. It's worth remembering that last season, Atlanta was statistically the worst team in the NBA when it came to covering the spread. Simply put, betting on the Hawks has not been a profitable endeavor. Furthermore, just over a week ago, the Pistons managed to secure a convincing 10-point victory over Atlanta on the road while limiting them to just 38% shooting from the field. Despite having to play their second game in as many nights, the Pistons are still opening as clear favorites in this matchup, and rightfully so. Given the way both teams have been performing recently, Detroit appears to be the much more trustworthy option. While it wouldn't be completely shocking if the Hawks suddenly found a spark and managed to pull off an upset on the road, the Pistons have been the more consistent team this season. Coming off an impressive win against the Chicago Bulls last night, Detroit is showing solid value as the short line favorite. The betting line in this game seems somewhat soft, especially considering that Atlanta is currently in a downward spiral. These two teams are currently heading in opposite directions, and despite the Pistons facing a rest disadvantage, I still anticipate them handling their business at home. With Detroit's well-balanced scoring attack and noticeable improvements on the defensive end, combined with Atlanta's continued struggles and injury issues, the Detroit Pistons to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full-game side pick. Looking at the pace of play, these are two of the faster teams in the NBA this season. The Hawks currently rank 3rd in pace, utilizing an average of 104.8 possessions per game. Meanwhile, the Pistons are not far behind, ranking 10th with 101.6 possessions per contest. Atlanta's defensive struggles have been glaring during their ongoing 8-game skid, as they have allowed opponents opponents to score an average of 118 points per game during this stretch. Given that both teams feature dynamic playmakers in Cade Cunningham and Trae Young, this game has all the makings of a high-scoring affair, with plenty of back and forth offensive exchanges. Recent trends further support the likelihood of a high-scoring contest. Atlanta's last two games have resulted in a combined total of 252 and 259 points, while the Pistons have seen the over hit in two of their last three matchups. Historically, when these two teams face off, the scoreboard tends to light up, as evidenced by the over-under record of 7-1 in the last 8 head-to-head meetings. Given all these factors, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Washington Wizards versus Charlotte Hornets. Monday night features a matchup between two Southeast Division teams as the Washington Wizards take on the Charlotte Hornets on the hardwood in Buzz City. Washington enters this contest riding the momentum of a narrow 105-103 road victory over the Minnesota Timberwolves on Saturday night, a game in which they pulled off an impressive upset as an 11.5-point underdog. Meanwhile, Charlotte suffered a tough 107-104 home loss to the Denver Nuggets in the second game of a back-to-back set on Saturday night, though they did manage to cover the spread as 12.5-point underdogs. Historically, the Hornets have had the upper hand in the all-time regular season series, boasting a 71-63 record against Washington. However, the Wizards have recently dominated this head-to-head matchup, winning the last three meetings, including a close 113-110 home victory in their most recent encounter on December 26, 2024. As the Wizards prepare for this game, they will still be without key players Alex Sarr and Marvin Bagley. On the other side, the Hornets will enter this contest with the same lineup they have fielded in recent games. Washington had been enduring a brutal stretch before their shocking win over the Timberwolves, snapping their lengthy losing streak. They will now look to capitalize on that success and build some momentum against a struggling Charlotte team. However, given the inconsistency and struggles of both squads, it is difficult to confidently back either side in this matchup. That said, both teams are coming into this contest following surprisingly competitive performances, which adds an element of intrigue to this otherwise lackluster game. When assessing this matchup, it is clear that these are the two worst teams in the Eastern Conference, and there is little reason for optimism regarding either franchise at the moment. The Wizards just ended a brutal 16-game losing streak and enter this game with an abysmal 2-21 record on the road. However, they have had some success against Charlotte, going 2-0 against them this season and posting a 4-3 record against the Southeast Division. In stark contrast, they are a dismal 3-38 against all other opponents. Charlotte, meanwhile, has been dealing with significant injury woes and could be without key contributors such as Brandon Miller, Josh Okogie, and potentially LaMelo Ball. If Ball is unable to play, the Hornets will be missing their two top scoring options, further limiting their offensive potential. Charlotte has struggled in divisional games, going winless at 0-8, and they have posted an underwhelming 8-18 record on their home court. Additionally, they enter this game having lost 4 straight contests, making it difficult to justify their status as favorites. While it is widely acknowledged that the Washington Wizards are one of the worst teams in the league, the question remains, what exactly have the Hornets done to justify being favored over any opponent? Charlotte has dropped 4 consecutive games and has lost 6 of its last 7 overall. Moreover, they are still without their 2 best players, Miller and Ball, which severely hampers their ability to compete effectively. The idea of Charlotte being favored in this matchup is questionable at best. Despite their struggles, Washington at least has the benefit of being healthier, and they are coming off a massive upset victory over a strong Timberwolves squad. Additionally, the Wizards have already defeated the Hornets twice this season and have won 3 consecutive meetings against them overall. Given these factors, the betting line for this game does not make much sense. With that being said, the Wizards look like a different team in their victory over Minnesota, and they should at least be able to keep this game close down the stretch. Taking into account the injury concerns and the ongoing struggles of both teams, the Washington Wizards to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. This game features 2 of the league's 4 lowest scoring teams, which suggests that points will be hard to come by. Washington ranks 27th in the NBA in scoring, while Charlotte is right behind them at 28th in that category. The Wizards have been particularly ineffective offensively over their last 10 games, averaging just 101.8 points per game, despite playing at the 4th fastest pace in the league with an average of 101.7 possessions per game this season. On the other hand, Charlotte has managed to average 109 points per game over their last 10 contests, but they have still fallen short of the total in 5 of their last 6 outings. Similarly, Washington has stayed under the projected total in 6 of its last 8 games. Statistically, trends also support a lower scoring affair. When playing on the road, Washington has seen the under hit in 13 of 23 games, and the under has also cashed in 6 of its last 10 games leading into Monday's matchup. Charlotte has been involved in low-scoring affairs for much of the season, as the under has hit in 28 of their 46 games, along with 6 of their last 10. While Charlotte's offense remains inconsistent, their defense is somewhat underrated, whereas Washington continues to struggle mightily on the offensive end. Additionally, 3 of the last 4 meetings between these teams have failed to reach the projected total. Given the combination of injuries, offensive inefficiencies, and recent trends, this game is shaping up to be another low-scoring affair. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Houston Rockets versus New York Knicks. The high-flying Houston Rockets are set to step onto one of basketball's most iconic stages, Madison Square Garden, as they prepare to take on the New York Knicks. The Rockets have been one of the most impressive teams in the Western Conference this season, currently holding the 2nd seed while trailing only the Oklahoma City Thunder in the standings. Their consistent performances and ability to compete at a high level have positioned them as legitimate contenders in a tough conference. On the other hand, the Knicks have also established themselves as one of the premier teams in the Eastern Conference. They currently sit in 3rd place, just 1 game behind the Boston Celtics, proving their ability to stay competitive among the league's elite. This matchup features 2 teams that have shown resilience and strong play throughout the season, making for an exciting contest on one of the biggest stages in the NBA. Heading into this game, the Rockets will once again be without Fred VanVleet, as he has been officially ruled out. Additionally, their talented big man, Alperen Sengun, is listed as questionable, which could have an impact on their front-court presence. Meanwhile, the Knicks are monitoring the statuses of Og Anunoby and Josh Hart, as both players are also questionable for this highly anticipated matchup. This will be the 2nd and final regular season meeting between these 2 teams. In their previous contest, which took place in early November, Houston secured a decisive 12-point victory on their home court. However, it is important to note that the Knicks were still struggling to find their identity at that point in the season, as they were adjusting to new personnel and rotations. Since then, they have developed into a much more cohesive and formidable unit. Similarly, the Rockets have continued to prove their ability to compete at a high level, solidifying their status as one of the top teams in the Western Conference. Both teams are coming off losses and are eager to return to the win column. One key area of concern for the Knicks heading into this game is their defense against 3-point shooting. While the Rockets are not necessarily known as a dominant 3-point shooting team, they have the capability to knock down shots from beyond the arc when necessary. This presents a significant challenge for the Knicks, as they currently rank as the worst team in the league at defending the 3-point shot. If Houston can capitalize on this weakness, they should be able to keep the game highly competitive, if not tilt the advantage in their favor. Additionally, the Rockets have performed exceptionally well in bounce-back situations this season. They have gone 10-5 against the spread following a loss, demonstrating their ability to recover quickly. Furthermore, they have been one of the best teams in the NBA when it comes to covering the spread on the road, boasting a league-best 16-7-1 against the spread record in away games. This game is particularly intriguing because both the Rockets and the Knicks are coming off disappointing losses in which they were double-digit favorites. Despite this, the Knicks are being given the benefit of the doubt as the home team, which has influenced the betting lines in their favor. However, based on recent performances and overall momentum, taking the Rockets with the points appears to be the smarter play. Houston has been playing at an incredibly high level this month, consistently securing wins against top-tier competition. Moreover, they have already proven they can defeat the Knicks, as evidenced by their victory in November. The Rockets currently have 17 wins on the season and boast an impressive 28-19-1 against the spread record. Given how well they have performed in recent weeks, they have earned enough respect to justify backing them in this matchup. So the Houston Rockets to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. In the first meeting between these 2 teams, the game finished with a total of 206 points, which was significantly below the set total of 217.5. For this rematch, the total has been adjusted accordingly, and rightfully so. That first game took place very early in the season when the Knicks were still working through some growing pains and had yet to reach their full offensive potential. Now, they have developed into one of the most potent offensive teams in the league, currently ranking 4th in overall scoring. The Rockets, meanwhile, have also shown that they can put points on the board efficiently, as they rank 13th in scoring. Houston leads the NBA in field goal attempts per game, averaging 93.3 shots per contest, contest, which highlights their aggressive offensive approach. Additionally, they rank 13th in the league in possessions per game, averaging 102.9, which further supports the likelihood of a high-scoring affair. Looking at recent performances, Houston has been highly productive on the offensive end, scoring at least 119 points in 5 of their last 10 games. The Knicks have been even more prolific, reaching the 119-point mark in 7 of their last 10 contests. Given these trends, it is clear that both teams are more than capable of putting up significant point totals. This is further supported by the fact that between them, the over has hit in a combined 52 games this season. With both teams displaying strong offensive capabilities and an increased tempo in recent matchups, this game has the potential to be a high-scoring affair. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.